All right, what's up?
What's going on, man?
All right, so we got we're down a man today. Ro is traveling the world as we speak, so he'll be joining us back again next week. We'll probably keep this a little bit shorter, but yeah, let's get talking. Let's talk about these all this red, this crypto wreckage. What's going on?
Man, I think that the dip's been due for a while, and everybody's been trying to cause it. You know, they came out with the capital gains tax in the U.S., India FUD, China FUD, um, Elon FUD, um, BlockFi sends Bitcoin to their customers instead of stable coins as interest payments, and sends an email out threatening to sue all their customers. Um, so, I mean, I think that there are just so many things in the market that, like, whoever took it down finally felt like it was time to take it down.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of a machine that was just burning too hot, too quick, and putting a little bit too much stress on all the parts. And at some point, we just had to shut down. But I think the good thing is everything's still intact. Nothing really broke.
What?
There wasn't a big tether scandal. There wasn't a big like DeFi toppling of the cards that that we know of yet. There wasn't catastrophic leverage, rebalancing that tends to happen sometimes with big things like 2017. Not that that was you know that necessarily, but House of Card style type stuff. I think we're just regrouping. I think it's still go time.
Well, it should have happened, but Justin Sun stopped it. So he, Justin Sun, sold a lot of his Tron at the there was a bug in Tron when Tron first released, and all of the founders shares got unlocked and they weren't supposed to be. So Justin was able to sell all of his Tron near the top. And so what a lot of people don't realize is Justin's one of the biggest Bitcoin and ETH whales. And through having Tron, he's been able to set up ecosystems that has allowed him to do collateralized lending and leverage lending. So right now, he's got like a 606,000 ETH long open on one leveraged long open on one of his platforms. And the platform went down for maintenance as the price was crashing, and it didn't come back up until the price was above his liquidation value. But that would have destroyed. I mean, that would have took ETH down into like a single. Like it would have took ETH down to single digits, if not zero, for a short period of time. Um, and so he, I don't know. I thought it was funny that he posted how much ETH and Bitcoin that he bought during the dip. But yeah, if he would have let that platform stay live, and he would have got liquidated, then yeah, it would have took ETH to zero for a short time.
It's kind of wild to think about, and the fact that during that volatility yesterday, about this time yesterday, right? Um, it was hard to get into exchanges. It was pretty tough to actually make things happen. And so it just underlies the importance of having sell targets, triggers set, because, you know, if you can't get into the exchange to make a market move because there's just so much, congestion and um, need and demand put on those systems, that if you're just a retail account trying to get into your stuff, it's going to be very difficult for you to execute your strategy. Um, but I mean, that's $150 million. It's a lot, and that's what dips are for. I still think generally that we're pretty early, that things will bounce back here. course, we could sell off again, and that wouldn't be too surprising right now, to think that maybe things aren't over, that it's not quite safe to come out yet. I think that's fair game. But dips are for buying.
Well, you talked about the exchanges, and traditionally when exchanges go down, you can't log into their website, but you can, if you have built out your own or you're using a service that's trading via API, you still have access. They're down, you can still trade. And traditionally when that happens, that's when real traders make all their money on days like yesterday, because they're trading spreads via API in a system that's trading it with like combined liquidity across multiple different vendors. And people were making a killing. There were multiple people that turned like $5,000 into six figures just yesterday trading spreads. And it got so bad at one point that the exchanges started shutting down their APIs, because people who were being able to patch in through the API were just like getting rich. And to some degree that sucks, but to the other degree, that's really good, because the one of the biggest arbitrage players in the space is Sam. So if Sam made a lot of money yesterday, then he's the guy that's going to be pushing money into all these altcoins. So, you know, for whatever reason, the situation existed yesterday to where the guy that we needed to be flushed full of cash is probably flushed full of cash.
And on top of that, you've got a situation that plays itself out in cycles all the time, which is a market correction, in order to wash out what paper hands, weak hands, whatever you want to call them, the undeserving, of what comes next. And not all washouts are equivalent in size and magnitude. Sometimes you have washouts where people don't really learn their lessons and they get right back on leverage. And sometimes you have washouts that wipe people out completely, and that goes beyond your participation in market. That goes to, well, maybe you can't pay your bills. Maybe that changes the way that you have to approach the rest of your life, getting a job again, or whatever that may be. So it is wipeouts. If you kind of look at the distribution, the tail end repercussions of a wipeout are generally, you can't come back from that. But then again, like, you can benefit from these opportunities as well. And this wipeout probably didn't scare too many people away, considering the size of it. I know there's a lot of Shibu Inu, whatever, Shibu Inu. Oh gosh.
Sheeb.
Yeah, a lot of sheep holders who wish they sold, and like now it's kind of like, okay, where are we at? And maybe they're big whales that have been in the space for a while. Maybe they are just retail folks that are getting washed out for the first time. But there's going to be a few people who have kind of lost their livelihoods or their bags, and they'll regroup. They'll figure out how to, get things together. That happens all the time. You need that a little bit, but I don't necessarily think that what's happened so far will scare people away. I think that there's enough forward momentum to where it's kind of like people will get back up and be like, well, yeah, I had that coming. So this washout, I don't think, is comparable to a washout that eliminates participants.
The only participants that got eliminated, I think, besides leverage players, are the Binance Smart Chain guys. Because I don't know if you saw what happened, but that they, like, the recommendation this morning is, if you have any funds on Binance Smart Chain, take them off. Because CZ doesn't like to lose money, and all of a sudden yesterday happened, and Pancake Swap got exploited for like $1 billion. And then the derivative, Pancake Bunny, which all these greedy people were staking their pancake in, got exploited for $140 million. And like, talking about people that never learn, There's a guy that, his name's Ash Drake, and he famously shorted the 2013 top and lost everything, or shorted at 2013 and lost everything. And this time he was long Pancake Bunny, and he collateralized everything for a loan. He had paid off his house, but then he collateralized, because he made like $1 million. He came back this cycle with nothing and made $1 million this cycle out of nothing. Paid off his house, all this stuff, collateralized, and lost like 70% of everything on this.
Yeah. I mean, I think the stories have just begun. In the big scheme of things, this is just part of the massive transfer of wealth that's happening, where wealth is migrating from one established platform to a newly trusted platform that is in the process of being established. It's so funny. You've got all this institutional money, this Wall Street money that tends to move together. They've learned to grow big and to take signals from each other. And I think to some degree they are now moving our markets with their movements. But it's really interesting because, it's kind of like that you can never really know exactly what is happening, even if you've got your safety in numbers, because the world is different, right? And this world is a little bit different. So I think that everything that we know as crypto folks is still intact. I think that some of the patterns and the moves are going to be a little bit different. They're going to, be a little bit less volatility driven, more strategy driven, those sorts of things. But I think that we're actually really, really well positioned because we can identify primarily where the institutions are doing what they're doing, where the big money, where those herds are going. It's not just herds of retail now. We've got institutional herds to keep track of. What I'm kind of interested in though is Elon tweeting about the Cyberviking, implying Doge to $1. I don't know what his tweet was about today. It just seems like there was a lot more to it that I don't understand. Or he was on Molly early this morning. So I don't know if he's trying to get people to move into Doge here at the bottom of the market. If when we jump back up above 45, 47,000, get back into the 50s with Bitcoin, if that's even going to happen, or if Doge climbs market cap. I'm looking at about market cap of 5 or 6 for Doge right now, but 8 billion away, something like that from the number 3 spot at BNB. And if Binance Smart Chain's under attack, if there's a liquidity, I guess an exponential liquidity ledge there within the BNB system, and that takes a little bit harder of a hit. You've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Doge there, and I think a lot of people would like to see that, and I could definitely see that here at least for a little while. Times like this. What the hell is this tweet all about? It's throwback to the Cybertruck. Nothing to do with that.
I think he's trying to just let people know that he's taking, like, Doge is getting taken to $1. Because I don't know if you saw all the stuff that came out, but like Elon tried to control crypto Twitter, but like crypto is full of the most hardcore internet researchers in the world. And so everybody dug deep into Elon's past, and crypto has flipped on Elon, not just on his tweets, but just based on what all they've learned into their research into PayPal, that basically Elon was an idiot. Elon frauded everybody the whole way and that's what he's still doing. You know, Tesla, he pushed out the founders. And PayPal, as it designed, had nothing to do with Elon's development. It was all Peter Thiel. And, you know, it seems like, what if he's just trying to make Doge flip Bitcoin to send another FU to Peter Thiel? Because, like, you
Are
know,
they not
Elon,
friends anymore? Are they not
well, I
cool?
mean, were they ever friends?
I mean, I think they've made each other lots of money. I think that at that point,
I think Peter Thiel has made Elon lots of money. I don't know if Elon's ever made Peter Thiel lots of money.
um, well, I mean, I guess it's a you got to have one without the other. I mean, well, I don't know what that means.
Well, that's what I'm saying is the research was done by these crypto people into Elon's PayPal, and it was like, it was a joke. Like Elon's involvement with PayPal was a big joke. Like
Yeah, well,
all the things that he did was like a joke.
right. So first it was Zip2, then he made his money from that, and then he founded X.com,
Mm-hmm.
then merged with PayPal. So at that point, um, the merger with PayPal was his combining with Peter Thiel.
Yes.
And you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an engineer and I know what X.com brought to the table and what PayPal brought to the
Well, that was
table.
the thing is nothing supposedly.
Well,
Supposedly
but
when
then,
they went back into it, X.com was just a brand, and he was
well,
trying to get them to use that, and they had to push him out to get
so
it to where X.com was not used, and they went with PayPal and they used all Peter Thiel's tech.
well, the point is, Peter Thiel decided to pay a lot of money for X.com. They didn't use the brand. They moved forward with the PayPal brand. And I think Elon was perfectly happy with that because he got fucking paid.
Yeah.
So what did he get paid for? Something that got integrated or something that didn't.
Oh,
But
his shares. His shares.
okay,
When they
but you don't.
merged, he had this percent equity.
I get that, Tyler. But all I'm saying is that you don't pay for nothing. So at some point, X.com did bring something to value for PayPal. As far as like personally, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, I have no idea about that, you know, relationship at this point. I just think that, you know, there's a lot probably to it that nobody knows because these are powerful people with a lot of money. But Rohit, you know, he's not here today, but he seems to believe that the Thiel Musk complex was kind of early days, suspiciously a part of the potential early days of internet money. You know, that whole kind of theory. So I don't know really who made who money. I think Elon's richer than Peter Thiel now, but Peter Thiel's
Mm.
probably more powerful in the world still, which is kind of crazy. Um, I don't know if they're friends or if they don't like each other or anything like that. But to your point, Tyler, uh, yeah, nobody knows why. Will, see if you can pull up the tweet by, I think it was Kyle earlier today from Multicoin. Um, but, you know, I think that Elon is doing something that we can't comprehend. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying like you know, he's been talking about going to Mars for 30 years and like he's still at it, you know? So in those early days, I didn't really believe him. And then he built rockets and he's still all about it. So it's kind of like, well, shit, how long are you not going to believe this guy? Whatever he's doing in these early days of crypto, I don't know. Maybe this is all still about Mars and rockets and stuff. Yeah, this is it right here. Um, so what Kyle is saying here is most people think that he's manipulating markets. You know, what's he doing? And if you'll scroll down a little bit, he kind of goes on to explain his theory, which is let's take a look at Musk himself. He has a longer term vision than pretty much anybody else on this planet because of these things he's trying to do in that first tweet. And then that's what you really got to look at is tweet number 2, that last line. He is almost certainly playing the game at a level that you fail to appreciate, primarily because nobody can really understand or interpret what scale and what time frame this dude is operating on. So, I liked this tweet from Kyle because it pretty much said that you can't look at what Elon's doing with your basic lens. You have to look at this guy and say that whatever he's doing, it's visionary, it's super long term, and it's of the nature that the short term stuff either doesn't matter or it will all be fine, with the end game in mind. So I thought this was kind of insightful because you're not dealing with the regular person, and so whenever we look at Elon or people like Elon with the same lens, it's almost just like you're bound to not get it. So this was kind of eye opening for me. But yeah. So what else is in the news, Tyler? Anything else on your mind that you want to bring up or kind of cover or think about?
Sorry, I dropped out. My internet busted on me there for a second. But no, that I think that Elon is going to take Doge to $1 and past it. For the irony of it, he's going to try to develop around it. But I don't know. I mean, he stepped in some hot water. It's like if he was really trying to troll, he was doing a really bad job of it. Like he was sounding not very smart on Twitter for a while, and a lot of his arguments didn't like. It was like he didn't really know what he was talking about, which is not very like Elon. It's usually on Twitter. He's sitting in the high seat with the upper hand, and he appeared to start getting flustered. He got to where he was being a reply guy, and he's still being a reply guy, and he's replying to like a lot of people's tweets, and I don't know. It just seems a little uncharacteristic of him. And I think he's going to show everybody. And I think that tweet today was about Doge to $1. But yeah, I don't know. News wise,
Oh, can I say
besides the
something? Can I say something about what you just said?
yeah,
Uh, yeah, I'm kind of feeling that he did seem like he got flustered, frustrated, disheveled a little bit um, in his responses, almost defensive, almost as if crypto Twitter got to him a little bit, like because people can come with some pretty personal hate and stuff like that on Twitter. Um, but when it was a little bit more educated communities in a realm that he respected, but got a lot of backlash in the way that he kind of came in and began to manipulate our markets and seemingly selfishly and seemingly without explanation and seemingly arrogantly. Yeah, I mean, sure, I'm a crypto guy, and I realize Elon's going to do what he's going to do, but I also know he's manipulating our markets because I know how our markets are without him tweeting, and I know how they are with him tweeting. And he's not the only one that does it, but he should know what he's doing. He does, but I don't know if he necessarily realized how much he was stepping on people's toes, how much he was, um, pulling people's hearts and minds, unless there's a good reason for it, which he's, um, you know, getting to the point where he's getting kind of frustrated about. But I do think that his effect on markets are being dampened. He can't just tweet and drive the price this way or that way as much anymore. I think that in order for him to do that and to have effects on markets, he has to jump along with. It's like he's learning how to be a fucking Moby Dick. And there's part of that you got to understand that he knows what he's doing on the back end, but it took him a while to become somebody who could effectively communicate with people, to further, that becomes a trained thing. That becomes like finding your place and getting experience in that. So I do think that he's here to stay in financial markets. I do think that he's a finance guy, just in the big scheme of, the Renaissance character that he is. It's not like he doesn't know about financial markets. And that was his point with PayPal, but it was also a stupid defensive point that he shouldn't have to make. Just let them speak, and like just carry on. You don't have to correct them on that. But what he was saying is true. He's here to stay, and he will be leading command for a long, long time. It's just we just don't understand where the game is going, and he's already playing that to some degree. I think that his tweets and his words have lost impact, but I think that just like any good character playing the game he's playing as superhero, supervillain, whatever, he's got big bags now. And I think that what's going to move markets now is his bags and his slice of the pie in the markets. And he's just simply going to be as effective as he was when he was hinting about what he was going to do, as he will be when he shows people what he's doing transparently. And I think that that's really what it takes to get all the trust back from the people that maybe have lost trust. Is at some point he just has to disclose what he's doing completely, or where his intentions are, or where Tesla's money is, or where his funding is going, or what or why. All we know now is Doge won. The fuck is Doge won? Like, like, what is it? Is it an art thing you can write articles about to get kids excited about cryptocurrency going to the moon? Because if that's all it is, it's kind of just like a publicity stunt. But when we find out, like, what is this stuff? What are your intentions? Right? When we found out his intentions were to build rockets, revolutionize the space program, put up satellite internet for communications, get to the, like, to take batteries to the next level so that we could revolutionize transport. Okay. What are you doing? It's like, if he's like, yeah, batteries are the future. Oh yeah, batteries to $5. Oh, awesome. Or yeah, let's build rockets. We need more rockets. Everybody loves rockets. Let's send rockets to the moon. Okay, but what? Like, so what the hell are you doing in the space? It just, once we figure that out, it's kind of like, okay, we should have listened to this guy the whole time. That's probably how it's going to shake out in the big scheme of things, in terms of like the storyline that repeats itself in these sorts of situations. Human want we want resolution. We want to understand. We want the narrative to make sense. It's just part of our human nature. So this will make sense. We will make it make sense. But in the meantime, I think that you're going to start seeing him continue to move markets, not with his words, not with his tweets, but with his actual moves, his money, his investing, his, deals. And I think that as that kind of comes to light a little bit, I hope that there's, I hope he's not just losing it. I don't think that he is. I think that this is a rough transition into a new world, and a new paradigm, for him, where, he got jabbed in the face a couple times in round one, at the end of the round, and he didn't like it very much. But he's not somebody you want to bet against in round two. It's just, I just don't think he can talk shit and make things happen. I think he's just going to have to show people what he's doing, and that's probably going to make some stuff happen. Yeah, that's where I'm at on that.
Well, he came like a little fangirl with his diamond hands tweet, So it's like, guys, please like me again. Guys, please like me again. I mean, that was really stupid of him to come after the Bitcoin community, honestly, because it's like, think about the people that drive Teslas. Like he literally went and pissed off his existing customer base. Like really, he already stopped accepting Bitcoin, and then it's like I don't think he realizes, but all these other people, like the people that Doge speaks to, they're not Elon fans. They're not gonna be Elon fans. Like they don't think, it's like
Oh man, I think your internet might have cut back out on you again. But yeah, I think to your point, you never know. You never know how it's going to shake out. The Bitcoin community is pretty resilient, so I wouldn't be surprised if he comes around and they come around. I think that he definitely did piss off a lot of people. I think that he was probably a little surprised at who he pissed off. But we've all been kind of surprised at what he's doing in the markets. But these are definitely early early days in crypto markets still, and the fact that we have the number one shitcoin contender ever to exist, Dogecoin, as one of the top 10, top
it,
five
it,
type of coins in the market right now. Um, it's pretty wild to see. Who knows how long this will last? But it's uh, it's anybody's guess. It's anybody's guess what's going to happen next. Having internet trouble?
yeah, it's terrible, man. I don't understand what's going on.
It's all good. Let's get some final thoughts and then wrap this thing up here.
Well, the one thing I wanted to talk about, well, there's two things. Is one, we think about Dave Portnoy trying to mock or mimic Elon Musk with Safemoon. And then I want to get into the conspiracy that's been floating around over the last 24 hours that a lot of people will probably see today.
All right. Safemoon, Dave Portnoy. This guy is a joke. Like he's made his whole career off of being a joke. I love it. I love it. I mean, he's a sports betting, New York talking, pizza eating, review making, like just
Clown.
he's great. He's great. And then he decided he wanted to get in financial markets. I mean, he's basically like, I don't know. He's got this following, which is a high energy group of people that I really like. So, um, him jumping on SafeMoon when he got screwed by Dogecoin. Sorry, he'd made terrible decisions in Bitcoin. Had paper hands, got out, missed the run up. The whole run up, he was saying he was never going to do it, never going to own Bitcoin. Um, participated in the whole GameStop thing. At the same time, was talking shit about crypto, and now he wants to jump into SafeMoon and to get other people into SafeMoon and do that whole thing. I mean, it's very fitting for Dave Portnoy, and all of his fans will probably jump on board. But I think in the big scheme of things, you're getting more and more folks to jump in and participate in crypto markets. It's just you're leading a lot of the herd to the slaughter when you pick something like this to play with. We lost Tyler again. Oh,
Doesn't have internet issues.
you there, Tyler?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. So, what are your thoughts on Portnoy and SafeMoon?
Oh man, Portnoy realized that everybody goes to the circus to see clowns, and that he could figure out how to be a clown for the whole country without ever putting makeup on. And the dude is
Tyler, I think we're losing you, man. Um, we'll have to get your internet issues kind of sorted out, it'll just kind of be one of those days. We'll cut the meeting a little bit short this time, and
Genius.
we'll circle back around. Yeah, whenever you, I think whenever your internet pops back in, we might be here, we might not, but we'll catch up. We'll do a follow up call either later this week, or we'll actually get Rohit back, I think, in a few days, in about a week or a little bit less. I think that with what's going on in the markets right now, we'll probably have a lot to continue to monitor and talk about. So it might make sense to throw together a couple more of these short calls in the next few days. But if anything changes, we'll be back, and we'll wind down this time and be in touch. Later, Tyler.